would like to start off this video with the following disclaimer. I'm not making this video to attack anyone, make fun of anyone, or berate anyone. This is a serious video that will be part of a series dedicated towards pointing out scientific errors in religious scriptures, doctrines, and any ideology. I'll be relying on credible sources by academic standards and will only reference facts that have been proven. So if anyone watching this video would like to refute anything I say, the citations are listed down below in the description, and you can feel free to email the CDC, National Institute of Health, the World Health Organization, amongst various medical organizations listed below, and academic sources listed below, and tell them that they're wrong because such and such. And with that out of the way, let's move on to the main topic of this video, refuting the Sahih al-Bukhari hadith, based on evidence that the narrations showcase a complete lack of understanding of even the most basic fundamentals of biology, and dangerously wrong advice presented in these narrations that no medical professional would approve of them today. For those who don't know, al-Bukhari was a hadith compiler and a Muslim scholar in the 9th century AD. He claimed to have collected and compiled over 600,000 narrations over the course of 16 years, and given how Muhammad spent about 23 years spreading his message, that would imply that he had the time to make about 71.5 hadiths per day that Sahaba would have perfectly retained in their memories and passed it on without error for nearly 200 years until al-Bukhari came and compiled it all in a mere 16-year period. The claim is as outrageous as it sounds, and tell it to most people and they'll tell you it's baloney. But to mainstream Islam, saying al-Bukhari is fake is takfir, and if a Muslim said the hadith sounds fabricated, he or she is then shunned as a Quranist, a takfiri label used by mainstream Islam towards Muslims who reject the hadith. So, I'll be taking a look at several hadiths from the first volume of Sahih al-Bukhari. These narrations point out that the hadiths would imply that Muhammad was basically talking nonsense about medical advice in these narrations that are simply completely wrong. So let us begin with these narrations, shall we? Alright, so this hadith talks about how a man who married a woman has to divorce her because they both nursed from the same woman back when they were infants. So he went ahead and asked Muhammad what he should do, and he told him that he should divorce her because she's now his half-sister. That's not how heredity works. This has most likely stemmed from a misconception at the time that breast milk is directly related to the overall makeup of an infant. So, they assumed that if two infants suckled from the same woman, then they'd become like half-siblings. This is simply not true, since the genetic makeup of any living organism that reproduces by sexual reproduction is determined right after a sperm fertilizes an egg. Once a mitotic cell division occurs, the genetic makeup of that newly formed zygote is set in stone. It cannot change without some serious damage to the cellular structure. And that would take something like radiation poisoning and cell division errors that lead to cancer cells to do any changes to your genetic makeup in any way, shape, or form. And both of these examples will lead to the eventual death of the organism. So no, if two infants were breastfed by the same woman, they will share no blood relation whatsoever. And now this one says, if a woman orgasms while pregnant or before pregnant, then the child will resemble the mother. Just no. As was what I pointed out earlier, that's not how genetics and heredity works. There are dominant and recessive genes, and these can greatly influence the odds of what an organism will look like, but definitely not by sexual discharge. Once again, this idea comes from a myth that a fetus's form and makeup is ever-changing based on the amount of sexual intercourse that parents have, and the myth that female orgasm plays a role in pregnancy. No, again, once an egg is fertilized by a sperm and meiosis begins, then the genetic makeup of that organism is set in stone. Cleaning yourself with an odd number of anything, or an even number of anything, will matter nothing if your genital and anal area remains dirty. Doing something a certain repetition of times will change absolutely nothing if the end result remains unfinished. Because if these areas remain dirty, chances are that you will develop anal fissures, hemorrhoids, and inflammations, and as bacterial growth occurs on that fecal residue, the possibility of infections will become highly probable then. This is another example of an absolute lack of knowledge on biology. Now, this one is strange. It showcases an example of Muhammad spitting water in a tumbler containing water, which isn't something smart to do, because that right there is a vector for viral and bacterial transmission. Saliva has been proven to be a vector of transmission of both bacteria and viruses. Spitting in a water vial that will later be used by others is dangerously reckless. Once again, proof that this hadith is written by people who understood absolutely nothing about biology at the time. This is a hadith showcasing Muhammad going to a public defecation area and urinating there, and urging his friend to stand next to him as well in that area. Standing and urinating in an open sewage area is lethally dangerous. Open sewage areas and open defecation areas have attributed to pandemics and endemics throughout human history because they are a perfect breeding ground for infectious microbes that have infected humans, and these are breeding grounds for the whole package as well. Fungal infections, such as Aspergillus, bacterial infections, such as typhoid fever, parasitic infections, such as roundworms, and horrific viral infections, such as hepatitis A and hepatitis B, to just name very few. More evidence that no one understood anything about biology at the time, and extension had no knowledge of what diseases were and how they spread in the first place. In this hadith, a woman asks Muhammad what she should do about prayers because she has bleeding between her periods for 7 years now. He just tells her that it's a burst blood vessel and that she's fine. This is not a sign of something fine. That woman did not have a burst vessel. She checks a lot of symptoms of an underlying medical condition, of benign tumor growths that affect the uteral area, or a form of leukemia. Best case scenario, that woman had severe hormonal imbalances, which will also substantially increase her risk of developing cancer after she hits menopause. And now we come to this one. This one. So it narrates as follows. Some people of the Aqal or Aranya tribe came to Medina and its climate did not suit them, so the Prophet ordered them to go to the herd of camels and drink their milk and urine as a medicine.
You serious?
Oh boy. Oh, this one. Saya, do you want to know a way in which you can unleash a deadly pandemic? Not the one we're dealing with right now. No, worse. Drink camel urine and contract the MERS virus, the coronavirus with a 35% case certified mortality rate. And this hadith has killed at least 2,500 people so far. So to anyone watching this video thinking that the Hadith scripture is real or that it's absolutely harmless pep talk, look at the COVID-19 pandemic and remember that the so-called advice in one of the Hadiths could have made what you're currently dealing with right now 5 times worse. This is Brutal Honesty, signing out.